No, actually, you said there was something wrong with me because I started screwing with you when I realized that you were wiretapping me. And so you retroactively found a justification after you already started wiretapping me. So basically, how this works is if we go to court with you using the audio that I did because I knew you were wiretapping me, which is foreknowledge of the outcome of the court case. How this would work is there would be a judge review of all the evidence. I would be present. I would testify whether or not this evidence was or was not justifiable. The prosecutor would have to have a conversation with me after the interview, and then the judge would make the determination of whether or not this would be admissible in court. And I'll tell you right now, wiretaps that occurred with my knowledge, that where I started doing stuff just because I knew you were wiretapping me, would be inadmissible in court. And this video right here would just taint all of your evidence. So I'm aware that you were wiretapping me. You've been wiretapping me for like a decade. The FBI started doing it like a decade ago when I came back from Australia. Australia was wiretapping me, but Australia was wiretapping me for other reasons. Australia was wiretapping me because they were stealing my software. The Chinese were stealing my stuff over there in Australia. They stole some of my thumb drives. They stole my BeagleBone Classic and all this stuff. Actually, I think it was a BeagleBone Black. I'm not 100% certain which. I had a few of them. So they stole my gumstick drives. They stole everything when I was over there in Australia. So yeah, the entire reason you're wiretapping me has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that there's oversight on wiretaps in the United States. So even if you have a legal local warrant to wiretap, which you don't, because you're supposedly wiretapping me for, as they said, were mental health reasons. This is why I'm being wiretapped, by the way. It's because I'm not stupid. The entire reason the wiretap started is because I was working on projects that weren't sanctioned within the university system while I was going to the university. What this means is I was working on stuff that was applicable to national security, even though I wasn't in a program to work on stuff that was applicable to national security. This is how this happened. And it just rolled out like this. They started monitoring me because of the posts online about some of this stuff. And then when I moved to Australia, the Chinese started stealing it, literally just outright stealing it out of my home every time I left the home. They were stealing my stuff. It was India and China was stealing my stuff. Yeah, this is how it happens. Erratic behavior. And so once I realized that you guys were wiretapping me, I started saying crazy stuff. Because it's funny. It's funny. Who are you going to tell? Your superiors that I said crazy stuff? Even the guy that lives downstairs is aware. Like, this is crazy. Like, the stuff that you're saying is crazy. Like, of course I'll get a FOIA. Obviously. Like, you're over here telling people that list of things is... You think that somehow the national level doesn't have evidence of... Dude, the FBI can look at any police video anywhere. They can request it right off the server. It goes into a centralized database. They can request it. Any subject of interest or POI, like they can request any video evidence, including chest cams. Like you don't understand how the intelligence apparatus in the United States works. If you think that the feds can't just look at whatever they want, they don't need a subpoena, dude. That those days are gone. They can, without regard, view any video they want. Can they state that they got it from a certain source? No, they can't. Then they need a subpoena. They need a subpoena to get a local judge to sign off on the fact that they got it from them. But yes, but they can still preview it without any subpoena. The wiretap is illegal. We've already gone over this. This is part of Arctic Frost. It's illegal. So anything that you may have as audio evidence, which is, like, I've said this like dozens of times over the past decade, that I'm fully aware that you were monitoring me. That's why I used to say nuclear bomb. It was a joke between a friend of mine from like 20 years ago. We used to do that all the time because we knew people that worked in the NSA and we knew about Echelon. We didn't learn about Echelon from them, but we knew about Echelon. And so we would screw with them, see if he would ever hear our recordings randomly saying nuclear bomb. And yes, you're boring. So the conversation becomes a matter of which came first, the wiretap or the justification. And we now know that the wiretap came first, which is illegal because there's no probable cause to wiretap me. There never was. You can't formulate charges based on evidence that you gathered illegally. That's simply admissible in court, especially if I indicated that I'm fully aware that you've been listening the entire time. You guys were listening when I was on my HTC One, and I posted online that yes, indeed, you can map out a room using an HTC One because it has stereo microphones of high fidelity, and you could basically sonar map an entire room using it because the microphone on it was good enough to actually pick up ultrasonic and supersonic, or whatever you want to call it, ultrasonic waves, and you could map an entire room with that cell phone. You've been wiretapping me at least since then, and that was in 2013 that I had that phone. I had it all up until 2015. So here we are having this conversation about me having to do FOIA requests to wonder why the local podiddles are monitoring my communications illegally, because I'm running a business here. And it means that they're illegally wiretapping a company, like they're illegally monitoring the communications of a corporation, and they have no warrant. So at that point, with my history of having intellectual property being stolen by law enforcement as well as corporate espionage by other people of a political party, we can have this conversation at a higher level where you justify it in court after you try to press charges. And yes, I say crazy things because you're constantly over here threatening me. What, you think I didn't know? I'm tone deaf. My ears bleed and they ring all the time. Not stupid.